So we'll continue reading Madhurya Kādambini.
Live, Prema.
Okay, thank you, Mantaji. Make the screen bigger. Okay, so we started with the Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, and then we came down all the way to Bhava. Last week we saw what does Bhava mean according to Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura. So now we are going to look at Prema. Prema is the actual love of Godhead. So how that experience is going to be will be described by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura in this chapter. This chapter is actually a little bigger than other chapters. Other chapters were more or less like one page. But this chapter, if you look at it, it has actually quite a lot of pages to cover. The one reason is that in all of the places where Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura is describing the different stages, he is not giving any quotations. Because what happens is when quotations are given, the flow gets interrupted and it becomes difficult for us to comprehend. You would see that in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we are reading. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is actually quite simpler to understand. The reason it looks complicated because there's a lot of quotations being quoted by Rupa Goswami. So for example, that bhakti derides mukti. For that one statement, he would just quote 40 or 50 quotations to support his argument. So we would just half the way we go through the quotations, we would lose the context. Where did we even start? So in this work, Vishwanath Chakravarti did not give any quotations for that reason. But at the end, he will start giving quotations saying that, but if you want to know all the different quotes, I will just give you that as well. So he gives all the quotations at the end for those who want to understand where these are coming from. So that's also another reason that this topic is little larger than other topics. Okay. Atha tasyaha eva bhakti kalpavalyaha sadhana abhikye पूर्वं द्वे पत्रिके लक्षिते इदानीं ततः अतिचिक्कनानि तादृश श्रवण कीर्तनानि मायानि भावकुसुम संलग्नानि अनुभव अभिधानानि बहूनि पत्राणि सहसा एव आविर्भूय क्षणे क्षणे द्योतयन्ति. So here previously we saw that the bhakti creeper is growing in our heart. So the seed of the bhakti is given by the mercy of the devotee. That is through the Guru, you receive the seed of bhakti. And then that seed of bhakti, when you nurture it nicely, it starts growing into a plant. And that plant has grown so much big now. In the beginning, it gave 2 leaves in the sadhana stage. But now, from that plant, we are going to see a lot of leaves, especially around a flower. You would see that even in a real tree also, when it gives a flower, there will be a lot of leaves around that flower. So the flower, as we discussed in the last session, refers to bhava. So around the bhava, all these leaves will be there. And these leaves are ati chikkana, glossy, very soft, smooth. Tradrisha shravana kirtana mayani. It is filled with chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. And anubhava abhidhanani. These leaves are termed as anubhavas. Anubhavas are one of the ingredients of rasa. So when a devotee expresses his love toward Kṛṣṇa through various actions, depending on his particular sthai bhava he has for the Lord. If a parent, for example, interacts with Kṛṣṇa, they would express that love in their heart through different actions, like caressing the head of the baby, or feeding the baby, or taking care of the baby, bathing the baby. All these activities come under the purview of parental rasa. And similarly with the friendly rasa, sakhya rasa, you would have all the sakhas joking with Kṛṣṇa, playing with Kṛṣṇa, not for their own satisfaction, but to please Kṛṣṇa out of their own love. So that love manifests as these activities, different types of activities. So those activities are called anubhava, which we will study in the next section in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu we are reading. So these leaves around the flowers are called anubhavas. So this, in the stage of bhava, you don't have this anubhavas, but when the anubhavas come and merge with this bhava, then it goes into prema and it becomes rasa. So in that stage, you will have all these, in all the 5 ingredients of rasa coming together in the prema stage. So when these leaves start growing nicely under that bhava flower, more and more making the flower shine like anything. So it is growing into the next stage. That is, it is about to become a fruit. Yani eva bhava kusumam parinamam prapayya punaha tadaeva prema abhidhana palatvam manayati. So this anubhavas make the flower turn into fruit. That fruit is prema. Okay. So Himcha Acharya Charya Iyam Bhakti Kalpa Valli Yasyaha Patra Stavaka Pushpa Palani Prapta Parinatini Api Swarupama Tajanti Eva Navanamani Eva Sahasa Eva Sarvani Vibhrajante. So this bhakti creeper is undergoing so many different types of changes, right? First it became a tree, the creeper, and then it started giving out leaves, and then it started giving out flower, and then it started giving out fruit. So it looks like bhakti is undergoing a lot of modifications, but this is against the nature of anything that is spiritual. Anything that is spiritual that does not undergo any modification, it remains the same because it is eternal. It does not have any change. Na vikara, there is no vikara, there is no transformation. Krishna says in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita about the Atma also the same thing. It does not have any vikara, it does not change. It's thana, it's just fixed in its own position. It doesn't change. So similarly, bhakti also is spiritual. How come it is having a lot of changes? Like it becomes a leaf, and then it becomes a flower, and then it becomes a fruit. Looks like bhakti is becoming more and more condensed kind of a thing. But here he says Swaswarupa Mata Jayanti. It doesn't give out his nature. Without giving out this nature, it is more and more revealing itself. So later, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this chapter, he will say that he uses these analogies just to describe this process to make us understand it. Actually, bhakti does not undergo any modification. It more and more reveals itself. But this kind of modifications are given for us to easily grasp the concept. So that's why he is saying as if they are getting modified. Tatagacha asya bhakta janasya atma atmiya griha vittadishu shata sahasrashaha bhavatyaha yaha chitta vrittayaha mamata rajjubhi teshu nibaddaha eva purvamasan te eva chitta vrittihi sarvaha eva tatagataha avahlehya unmochya swashaktya maiki api te maharasakupa sprishamana padartha matraniva sakara chidananda jyotirmayi kritya tabihi eva mamatabihi sarvabihi tatagataga vichitabihi swashaktya eva tatabhuti kritabihi. Okay, it's a very long sentence. Let's break it down. It's going on. So previously the devotee was having attachment to his own body, his house, his family, his wealth, his friends, his position, power, everything he was having attachment. And they are said to be hundreds and thousands of attachments are present in the heart of the devotee in the form of chitta vritti. Chitta vritti means fluctuations in the in your heart. Basically, these are fluctuations. And these fluctuations are creating so many desires in your heart to get attached to so many different hundreds and thousands of things. And these fluctuations are the chitta vritti. They act like a rope. They bind ourselves with these, all the paraphernalias. So we are sort of bound, tightly bound in this material situation. But what happens when the stage of prema is achieved, all these bonds are loosened out. Basically, the person is freed out. He is liberated. After loosening him out, all these bonds, all these ropes are not thrown away, but these ropes are converted into spiritual ropes. And these ropes again are used to bind Kṛṣṇa. So the person, when he goes to the spiritual world, again he is bound, but bound toward Kṛṣṇa. Here we are bound toward material things. That is the only difference. So how come this material rope can become spiritual? He says that Maharasa Kopa Sprishyamana Padartha Matraniva. Just as you take let's say you take idli and you put it in a well of sambar, you throw that idli into that. So it becomes almost like sambar, right? So it becomes, completely gets dissolved into that. So like that, this rasa is there. It's like a well of rasa. And any material object you throw into that well of rasa, it also becomes rasa because of the shakti of the rasa. So similarly, all these mental functions which were previously material, they are changed into spiritual. Sakara chidananda jyotirmayi kritya. So they become radiant. They become eternal. They become bliss. All these things. Tabiheva mamatabihi sarvabihi tatagataga vichitabihi swashaktya eva tatabhuti kritabihi Shri Bhagavat Rupa Nama Guna Madhuryeshu Yaha Nibadnati. So then it ties this person into different qualities, names, forms of the Supreme Lord, which are very sweet in nature. So who does that? Saha ayam prema maha kirana mali iva. So this prema is what is doing all these activities. It unloosens the person from the material world, and then it ties the person into the spiritual world along with Kṛṣṇa. And this prema is like a Mahakirana Mali. This is like a great sun. When the great sun arises, what happens? All the darkness goes away. All the stars in the sky, including the moon, become invisible. So similarly, Nikila Purushartha Nakshatra Mandalihi, all other desires we have, all other achievements we have, such as our dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, including liberation also, they are like the stars. They get eclipsed by the sun, which means we will consider all of them as insignificant when the stage of prema is achieved. Halabhutasya asya yaha swadhyamana harasaha saha sandrananda visheshatma. So this fruit of prema also has juice because it's a fruit. You can take juice out of this fruit. So what is the juice of this prema? Juice in Sanskrit is also called rasa. So what is the rasa of this prema? It is Sandrananda Visheshatma. Sandra means very condensed. Ananda, bliss. You take bliss and then you condense it just like you condense the milk by heating it up a lot. So like that, you take bliss and then condense it too much. And that is the form of the juice of this fruit. It's very, 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 very blissful in nature. Rasasya parama paushtiki shakti Shri Kṛṣṇa akarshini iti uchyate. This also has another aspect which nourishes the devotee. That is Kṛṣṇa akarshini. Kṛṣṇa akarshini means it attracts Kṛṣṇa. Even Kṛṣṇa gets attracted by this fruit the devotee is possessing. So prior to that, Kṛṣṇa is actually not attracted by the devotee in the sense that he doesn't reveal himself. So when we start practicing bhakti, he's attracted to us, but he's not attracted to the extent that he is revealing in front of us. Otherwise, we would be seeing Kṛṣṇa every moment. We are not seeing Kṛṣṇa because our bhakti has not grown to an extent that can attract Kṛṣṇa and then bring it in front of us. That power is not there in the beginning stages. When it becomes prema, that has grown to so much extent that it pulls Kṛṣṇa and then makes him reveal himself in front of us. So this is also the point we discussed last time. There are 6 qualities of bhakti. The last 2 qualities are Sandrananda Visheshatma and Kṛṣṇa akarshini. So these 2 qualities belong to the stage of prema. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying here. Yasmin asvadayitum arabhyamane eva vignana ganayati iti kim maktavyam. As soon as you start tasting this fruit, all the obstacles in this world will be gone. Before that, we will consider so many obstacles, so many things as obstacles to us, though they are not really obstacles. They are obstacles to our own desires. They are not obstacles to self-realization. So, but at this point, when you are tasting the fruit, you don't consider anything as obstacle at all. As soon as you start tasting the fruit, not even completely engulfed it. Mahashuraha bhataha iva mahadhana gridnuhu atyavesha lupta vicharaha taskaraha iva smatmanam apina avekshate kimcha ratrin divam. Just as when a great warrior is engaged in a fight, what happens? When he gets too much intense into the fight, he actually doesn't care about his own life, own future. Nothing he cares. Nothing he cares about his body also. He may get slain or his body parts may be cut. He will get severely wounded. He doesn't care about anything. He's so much intensely involved in fighting, he doesn't care about anything. Just like that person. Also a thief. And a thief gets so much intense in planning to steal some great wealth. What happens? He's completely focused on that. To that extent that he doesn't care about his future. What will happen if he gets caught? He doesn't care about it because that greed for that particular wealth is completely possessing him and he is just one focused at that point. He's not caring about anything else. Just like these 2 persons, the Prem Bhakta is also completely absorbed in Kṛṣṇa. He's not caring about anything else, not about his own self also. He doesn't care at that point. Kimcha ratrin divam eva pratikshanam abhyavihriyamanayihi chaturvidhaihi paramaswadubbihi aparimitaihi annaihi api dur upashamaniya yadi kachit kshuda sambhavet tad sadrishya utkanthaya suryaha iva tapayan. So day and night, if a person is afflicted by a great hunger, that even after feeding different items of food, which are very, very relishable and unlimited in number, and different kinds of food. Something which are drunk, something which is eaten, something which is licked. All these different varieties of food, Chaturvida, 4 types of foods are there. So even after taking all this unlimited number of food, if a person gets hunger, that cannot be satisfied. Just like that, the greed within the heart of this Prema Bhakta arises for Kṛṣṇa. And that greed itself, like a great sun, burns him. Burning that person. Tatkale eva spurtehe avirbhavitani bhagavad rupa guna madhuryani. So what is this greed that is burning him? That the greed is that he wants to meet Kṛṣṇa. Just now he would have a vision of Kṛṣṇa, but then the Kṛṣṇa would disappear. And then this greed for attaining Kṛṣṇa's intimacy, Kṛṣṇa's association will burn him. He will just look very much eager for that. Just like the hunger is burning a person, so this person is also getting burnt by this separation. So at that moment, what happens? Again, Kṛṣṇa manifests all his qualities, his form, his smell, fragrance, all these things, right? Different things he manifests in front of the devotee. So when that happens, what happens? It feels like thousands and thousands of moon appear in front of this person who is burnt by this sun in the desert, the sun of separation. So becomes very cooled. So whenever he meets Kṛṣṇa, he feels very cooling nature. And whenever he is separated from Kṛṣṇa, he feels very much burning sensation. And again, we should not think this is like a material thing. This is spiritual. Even the burning sensation and the cooling sensation, these two give bliss to the devotee. So the separation from Kṛṣṇa or union from Kṛṣṇa, these two are part of Prema and they give bliss to the devotee. These are all given in through analogies for us to understand how the devotee is going through that stage. Hare Krishna. We will stop here. If there is any questions, any comments, anyone would like to add.
Hey, Vajivan, bro. Thank you so much, bro. You are hope giving to us. So I'm hoping someday all the idlis that I have will be dissolved in the ocean of sambar. And every time I eat idli, now I'll remember this.
Jai Prabhu. Because I come from South India, that thing immediately I could remember.
That's so appropriate also.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You made us remember nice breakfast in the morning, Prabhu.
Breakfast. Maybe I didn't eat breakfast, that's why I remember it, I guess. Anyways. Yes, always is Prabhu. You have a question.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. That was funny. So, Prabhu, I have 2 questions. One is, during this description from Madhurya Kādambini, is the Bhakti creeper compared to any particular plant?
Oh, it is not mentioned any particular plant. He just mentions Bhakti Kalpavalli. Kalpavalli means desire creeper. Just like we have a desire tree, you go to a tree, in the spiritual world, you'll have desire tree, you go to that and then you ask anything, it will just to fulfill. So he calls this a desire creeper. It's growing as a creeper.
Yeah, like I'm trying to envision, like in my mind, like if it's more like a tulsi plant or like a black pepper plant and like that. So I was hoping for a particular reference.
Oh,
and
I see.
The other question is, these 9 processes described here, are they only apply to conditioned souls?
So the people, the devotees in the spiritual world who are always there, they are always there in the stage of Prema.
Yeah. 9th
stage. So for us, who are conditioned, so we progress from here and then finally reach the stage of Prema, which is equivalent to what the Nitya Siddha associates are having.
So it is basically the process for the conditioned soul.
Conditions.
Because it's not like for example, Srila Prabhupada, who's pure devotee, it's not like he has to start from faith and like that.
No, so but sometimes as pastime they manifest also. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you see that, before he actually met Ishvara Puri, he wasn't behaving like a devotee. But as soon as he manifests Ishvara Puri, he starts developing all these, different things, Ruchi, Ashakti, and then Bhava and Prema. But these are all just as a pastime, they will manifest.
Leela,
showing,
yeah.
like, how
So it's just for Leela, basically. They're like already in Prema, it's just showing us, right?
Correct, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Mancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam vaishnavibhyo namo namaha antakoti vaishnav ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.